What's up, everyone? It's BRAP. A little bit under the weather. First, hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving. If you're here in the U.S., yeah, it's Black Friday, and so we'll talk a little bit about that. But again, a little under the weather here. Actually, believe it or not, in the 4 years since COVID-19, I have never tested positive for coronavirus, and wasn't feeling well on Wednesday, and I tested positive for COVID. So this is my official uh first positive test. Now I'm under the suspicion now, and actually I am feeling much better, by the way. I am taking the antiviral drug Paxlovid, I believe it's called. I'm taking that. I've been vaccinated, and I get the booster shots every season. When those new booster shots come out, I get boosted, um, or have been boosted, but double vaxxed, boosted. And yeah, Wednesday I just wasn't feeling well, was tired, felt, body aches, um, felt like I was had a little bit of a fever. So I took my temperature, had a fever of 101, then took the coronavirus test after uh, someone on social media recommended, a friend had recommended that I take a test. And I'm like, okay, I took the COVID test, and sure enough, it was positive. So I'm convinced now, just based on the symptoms that I've had, I do feel much better, by the way. I feel a lot better than I did Wednesday. I feel outside of being congested and still feeling a little tired, I feel much better than I did Wednesday. Like I this is very mild what I'm feeling. Feels like a very light cold. Alfred has become my best friend. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm convinced at this point that there's no way I dodged COVID for 4 years. With the symptoms that I'm feeling, and it felt Wednesday, are very much like symptoms that I felt before. So I'm thinking I'd probably have had COVID and either tested too early and got a negative when I may have had it, or just didn't bother testing at all because I figured it was something else, like a cold. But I'm convinced I had it now. But anyhow, I am doing much better, though, feeling good. And that's why I didn't do Wednesday's show, because of COVID. So, but I'm here. And on that note, let's officially kick off the show right now. All right. We got to discuss today's Black Friday. We're going to talk about some of the Black Friday deals that are out there right now. I haven't done any Black Friday shopping because I really haven't felt like it. I've been watching a lot of TV, been on the couch, watching a lot of TV, movies. Finally got to see Wolverine, Deadpool. Really good, by the way. Very good, very good. I suggest if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. What else? Been playing, it's interesting. I've been playing a lot of the Black Ops 6 campaign. I don't know. I just like it. It's not, I wouldn't say it's the best campaign of this year that I played, but it's good. It's fun. It's a nice popcorn flick, if you will. It's got some stealth espionage elements to it, which I like, and I'm hoping Ubisoft delivers with Splinter Cell. I know they're talking about, we know there's the game's supposed to be, well, the series is supposed to be rebooted, but who knows? We haven't heard anything in regards to Splinter Cell in quite some time. But do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Hey, Ice Cream Gaming says, hey, Brap, Dr. Say, I'm so sorry to hear that, Ice Cream Gaming. Hang in there. It's great that you're seeing your doctor. And I do wish you nothing but the best. I know that that can be challenging at times. So you're doing the right stuff. You're doing the right thing by going to see the doctor. Keep doing that, and wish you all the best. So yeah, I've been playing some of that. Actually, before I get into Black Ops and when I'm playing. I need to retweet the link here. A couple things I didn't do before we went live. Give me a sec here. I'm going to message Falky. See if Falky can join us. Falky actually messaged me Wednesday. I didn't get back to him. Probably hear me typing away. All right. All right, but yeah, please hit the like button if you haven't done so already. It helps out the channel. If you just joined, I apologize if I sound a little congested or you hear me cough. It's because I have I do have COVID. Tested positive. If you just joined on Wednesday, of all times, it's tested positive right before the Thanksgiving holiday. It is what it is. I do feel much better though, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah, so I've been playing Black Ops 6 campaign. Like I said, I'm enjoying it. It is fun. It is fun. So I do want to talk about do want to talk about Black Friday deals here because it's Black Friday here. Give me a second here. I need to pull Black Friday stuff. I've been watching, following Wario. All right, here we go. Let's go with the Black Friday deals. Might be a good time to buy a console, by the way, if you're in the market for one. Of course, my I'm getting spammed by LG right now. LG sending me a ton of stuff. They want me to buy another OLED. And I'm happy with my OLED. I'm not going to buy that. I did think about buying another PC monitor, but then I was thinking, you know what? I'll probably wait. I don't know. I say that, and then later on this evening, I may look at a deal and pull the trigger on a laptop, or not a laptop, a new monitor. Excuse me. Ooh, there's one more thing I need to do. All right. Where's this article I'm looking for? All right, here we go. BRAP thought he was prepared, but clearly I'm not. All right, here we go. Black Friday deals. I'm sure everyone's shopping right now. Hopefully everyone's shopping. All right, this is according to Polygon. Best gaming deals of Black Friday. It's funny. My 6-year-old like wrote his list for his Christmas list that he wanted, and everything was video game related. He wanted a PC, he wanted a PlayStation 5, and he wanted a Nintendo Switch. That's all he put on his Christmas list. And I'm looking at him like, yeah, probably not going to get a PC, bud. It's probably not going to happen. Corona Rick says, as an adult, I now just buy everything throughout the year, so Black Friday is not the same. You know what's funny? It's funny you mentioned that, Corona Rick, because that's a great point. I mean, like Black Friday isn't as big of a deal because I could see that perspective, and that's probably true for me as well. Where I'm like, it's not because I buy things throughout the year, or I already have things that I need. It's kind of like I used to always look for TVs, and now it's like I have a great TV and the OLED, the C2, the LG, and I mean, I've had it for 2 years now. It's a great TV. I gonna have it for a while. I don't feel the need to upgrade just yet. James House says, I hope Sony supports this new handheld better than previous iterations. Well, we're going to talk about that. I mean, that's the rumors that the PlayStation will be playing the next PlayStation handle may be like something on par with I think PlayStation 5 or be able to play PlayStation 5 games. So yeah, I think because we'll get into it in a little bit, but I think that this might be a little bit different. I'll give you my reasons why later on the show. But do me a favor, everyone. Please hit that like button if you haven't done so. Consider subscribing and hit the bell notification so you're alerted to go live. Also, think about becoming a BRAP VIP member. We're going to be doing giveaways. I know I said this month. That's going to be next month. Game Over Cholo says PlayStation Portal Pro. So we will be doing giveaways for BRAP VIP members starting next month. I know I said last month, but just it's been a little bit of a hectic month. So that will be happening next month, just not for the holidays. So any wrestling fans in the house, professional wrestling fans in the house, raise your hands. Let me know, because I have some thoughts about AEW. I'm going to try and get Falky on. He's not, unfortunately, Falky won't be able to join us. No worries. So yeah, back to the point about Black Friday. Yeah, I mean, I used to always, that's kind of like when I would buy things, when I was younger. I'll wait for Black Friday deal. Now I'm like, now if I want, I'm going to buy it. Like the TVs. The TV is a perfect example of that. I didn't wait till Black Friday to get a TV. I just bought it. Computer comes out, just buy it. No wait for Black Friday. By the way, let's talk about Avowed a little bit. Obsidian's talking about Avowed being evolution of Obsidian's past RPG, so that's interesting. Yeah, and Xbox gamers aren't happy about Avowed's premium edition. That's something else we'll talk about. Actually, let's talk about the Avowed thing right now, because let me do this real quick before we get to Black Friday. So Avowed has a premium steelbook editions Um, and there's it's referred to as a physical edition. These premium steelbooks, but they don't come. And this isn't new. We see this with other steelbooks. I think this happened with Halo, and there's other games too. Doesn't come with a disc, but a digital download code inside the case. So the game comes out February 18th and next year, and people are kind of it's kind of people who are prefer having a disc or such. They are not happy about this. The excuse me, the physical game edition, this particular premium edition, this what they call physical, retails for $95, and it doesn't come with a disc. So I mean, look, it doesn't surprise me that a quote unquote physical edition doesn't have a disc. It has a code to it, but I think this is kind of, I think we're going to see less disc at some point, probably all digital, at some point in the future in console games. I mean, it's the way that's the route that PC's gone. I don't see that being dialed back. So there's a digital standard edition, which is $70. That's just the base game download. There's Avowed digital premium edition, which is $90. Base game includes the base game. Gives you up to 5 days early access, which is another point of contention, by the way, because this is a first party game, Xbox game, and the games are supposed to be day and date on Game Pass. The game's supposed to be day and date on Game Pass, and yet, like we saw, there's with Starfield. Yeah, people will pay for early access. We saw that with Starfield. And you're not going to get that even if you subscribe to Game Pass. You still have to wait 5 days. You have to pay extra to get the early access. So that's kind of been a point of contention amongst some fans, not all. Some gamers out there who feel, well, wait a minute, if the game is technically available to play to consumers, albeit by paying more, by a higher price of entry, it should be available because it's day and date Game Pass. No, that's not what Microsoft's doing. It begs the question. I wonder if Microsoft will enact some kind of tier sorts where you could pay the additional monies, if you will, or pay into a higher tier of Game Pass that would allow for like early access to the games. Maybe it's additional $2. You get like 5 days early access to first party games. That would be interesting to see if Microsoft did that. I mean, would make sense for them to do it because would increase those revenue streams and for Game Pass. So, sorry, let me share my screen here with the Avowed stuff because I'm not doing that right now. James says it's no different than receiving a code ahead of time. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to read. I'm trying to keep up with the chat here. Yeah, Chrono Rig. The TV deals, I've heard that too. They're better before the Super Bowl. Game Over Cholo says, I got my PS5 Pro at 25% discount at our Mexican Black Friday called Bienfin. Oh, come on, Jason. They can be happy. Yeah, let's see here. Jason Ames talks about, I think early access is a good thing. It allows for non-quid pro quo reviews before the general release date, much more honest. Yeah, Jason, I don't know. I don't know about the quid pro quo reviews. I don't think that's, from what I've gathered and just speaking to a lot of journalists, that's not a. I'm not saying it's not a thing that doesn't happen. They've acknowledged it much, but it's not anything that's rampant. I wouldn't apply that to all reviews, is what I'm saying. They're all quid pro quo. And that's why it's important to look at things like, if you're looking at reviews, like look at the aggregates of things like OpenCritic and Metacritic. All right, so here's the editions. The Avowed Digital Standard Edition, $70. I mentioned earlier. The Avowed Digital Premium Edition, which is $90, base game download, up to 5 days early access. 2 premium skin packs, digital art book and soundtrack. Avowed Premium Edition Steelbook. This is the. I don't know. I don't want to do that. I'm sorry. Give me a sec here. $95. Base game download up to 5 days early access. 2 premium skin packs. Digital art book, soundtrack, steelbook, letter from the developer, maps of the living lands. So this is basically $100. So you know, you get for $5 more, you do get the steelbook and some other contents. Of course, you see, I did see some fans, as the article mentions, go onto Twitter and call Xbox out for overlooking gamers who like to play physical games or want the physical disc. Look, I get it if that's important to you, but I don't. I mean, it's like, you know, it's the way the industry's going. So, anyhow, so that's kind of the controversy that I've seen more recently around Avowed. We don't know if Avowed's going to receive a disc version after the launch, or whether Xbox will stop marketing disc supporting console altogether. That's actually here in the game article. However, any move in that direction is not a welcome change for all fans. Yeah, that's gonna. I mean, look, there's gonna be people that are unhappy about it, but I just think we're gonna see more of this than not. All right, let's go back to Black Friday here. All right, the I can't even talk. The best gaming deals on Black Friday. This is an article by Polygon, and they have their best Nintendo Switch deals. Now this is amazing. Sorry about that. I was coughing. I had to mute the mic real quick. I didn't want to cough into everyone's ears here. All right, Black Friday. So this is kind of interesting. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. It's actually 57% off. Buy this game if you haven't played it. I mean, seriously, this is crazy. It's $30 at Walmart right now. $40 at Best Buy, $45 at GameStop. Walmart has it for $30. Nintendo never discounts anything. And this is actually one of the best games I've ever played. Tears of the Kingdom is really good. Very good. I mean, the game incorporates some of the best crafting mechanics, items, things that you can make the some of the level design. I mean, it's just well done. It's some of the best gameplay design, whatever, that I've played in any game. Sorry, coughing again. Yes, the shrines. The shrines. Yes, the shrines. The shrines are amazing in that game. I mean, yeah, it's this game. I mean, this game at this game at $30. I mean, even at $45, still a good deal. But $30, insane. It's a $70 game. And it's sold gangbusters, by the way. People were kind of, raising eyebrows when Nintendo released the game at $70, but it sold well. It sold well. It goes back to what we've been saying on this show for quite some time. The market will dictate what they will accept or what they'll pay for. All right, I want to welcome Game Logic to the show. What's going on, Logic?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm doing better, man. I'm recovering. Feel much better than I did Wednesday for sure.
That's good, man. That's good, man. In the live chat, in the chat, if my mic is too soft or too loud, if you guys could let me know, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm Logic. I'm actually just I'm looking at this $30 price tag for Tears of the Kingdom at Walmart. That's insane for this game. I mean, we always joke around Nintendo, their games never get discounted. This might be the largest discount of a well-known Nintendo game that I can remember. So I was telling everybody, if you haven't played it, you have a Nintendo Switch, just this is well worth the $30. It's a great game. It's one of the best games I've played.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to slap Nintendo on the back too much, right, for doing something that arguably, they could have done before. So it's glad to see them conforming to more of normalcy on the market.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, man. I don't disagree. By the way, did you do any Black Friday shopping?
Not that I could really say was instantiated because of Black Friday. So I'm a notch or two too low. Okay, we'll try and bump that a little bit. I mean, I shopped. I shopped because because a couple months ago, back in October, I started this transition. I mean, I've been going through this transition all year of enough of the hardware reviewer kind of lifestyle and and let's pick a vendor, pick a square and stand on it. And everybody doesn't need my opinions about the difference between Android and iPhone and all that stuff. So I've been transitioning to the Apple ecosystem, and there's been bits and pieces of things I was I don't really need that. I'm in the ecosystem. That's a nice to have, but then kind of going into the end of the year and all that stuff, I was I just don't want to be bothered going into next year. So I did buy my remaining key things that I wanted, just to kind of get that off my plate and out of my windshield. Discount wise, there were discounts on AirPods. In particular, strangely enough, the AirPods Pro 2 were pretty heavily discounted. They're normally $250, so they were discounted $80. Strangely enough, the AirPods 2 which, Apple does that thing where when they make when they make a new model of a thing, they'll often keep like 2 models back as kind of like the budget purchase. So strangely enough, the AirPods, the AirPods 4 were not discounted, which was just weird. So in many cases, the AirPods Pro 2, which are the newer, more advanced SKU, were actually cheaper than the AirPods 4 in a lot of stores. So I did wind up ordering both. I think I wound up finding the AirPods 4 ANC, the active noise cancellation, because there's 2 different models. I did wind up finding those finally discounted, although they weren't discounted going into the weekend. And then the AirPods Max, which are kind of like their big, like Bose-like over-the-ear Bluetooth headphones. They're trying to flush inventory of their of the Lightning model ones because the newer models are all USB-C. So those were discounted like $150, and they're the exact same. There's nothing different about them digitally. It's just that the connector, on the headphone side is Lightning instead of USB-C to USB-C. And I was like, well, I don't really care. That doesn't make any difference to me. Like, it's what I care is about the connector on the other end, and both of them are USB-C. So I grabbed a pair of those too. So, and then I've got a HomePod and HomePod Mini on the way. An Apple TV 4K, the 128 gig Ethernet model. I think there's one other thing somewhere in there, but yeah, I tried to kind of knock all that out. Well, there were a couple things on sale.
Yeah, so you got some goodies, man. You got some things. Let's see here. I'm trying to look at
stuff.
Yeah, what's that, man?
I said yes, but all like Apple stuff, not a lot of gaming stuff.
Man, you're really diving into the ecosystem then.
I'm there. I mean, I had all the major devices, so I had bought a used Mac Mini, M1, and I have 2 MacBook Pro Airs, the M2 and the M3, and then I have the iPad Air 13-inch. I'd had an iPad 10th generation, just like the base model iPad, and then I picked up an iPad Mini too. And then I've got the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I use the iPhone 16 Pro for work. So most of the device stuff I had kind of already filled out. It's just a lot of kind of the lower level devices and some of the key accessories.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's the other thing. And then I had a Magic Trackpad for my Mac Mini, which is what's down in my studio, and it's become kind of like my major video editing, photo and audio station. But I have a MacBook Pro for work, and so I got a trackpad for that also, just because that'll make it easier upstairs in my office. Because trackpad takes up less room than moving the mouse around all over the place.
Nice. Oh, Hap, I got to tell you something, man. So I'm on this prescription called Paxlovid. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's an antiviral drug for COVID, right? And let me tell you, man, one of the side effects is that you will get a metallic taste in your mouth. It's the worst thing ever. I know that's not game related, but it's like I have it right now. And it's like, oh, this sucks. The one thing that I found that
metal mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Metal mouth, right? Yeah. So the one thing that I found that's helped with that is just drinking like orange juice or eating candy. So anyhow. All right. Yeah, I didn't, I don't really do Black Friday that much anymore. Because I have everything I want right now, so it's hard for me to be like, oh, I gotta get, like when I was kind of transitioning to or buying like when I was buying like streaming devices, for the TVs, then I would like do buy things like that on Black Friday, smaller like things. But like TVs, I used to get TVs back in the days, Black Friday when I was younger. I don't do that anymore now because I have the TV I want, I feel like every year I was like doing an upgrade and there was always some kind of compromise of sorts. But now it's like I didn't compromise. I got the TV that I wanted. So it's like, I'm not gonna, I'm not buying a new TV because I'm happy with the one I have. So anyhow, yeah,
Yeah,
I really,
on
yeah, go
streaming
ahead.
devices, I want to say I've seen I haven't dug into them because like you said, I kind of have everything I want in that product category. But if you are like a live streamer, content creator type person, I think Elgato has some good deals going on now.
Oh, okay. I might have to check that out then. The Elgato stuff. I forgot Nvidia has this. They have that Shield Android TV streaming device, media player.
Don't buy that. If you need one, I'll send you mine.
Is it that bad?
No. It's great.
Yeah.
I had the original Shield, because they've done a reboot. So I had the original Shield, that had like the 500 gigabyte hard drive, and very few people had those. And actually, when I had mine, Nvidia had issued like a firmware update, but it was like there was some type of design flaw or something in it, like at the integrated circuit level. And so the only way this firmware update could be applied was for you to ship your Nvidia Shield back to them. And so I had just moved, and so I shipped the Nvidia Shield back to them, and I had given them my new shipping address. But when they sent it out, they sent it to the original address, from the original purchase order. And so it's kind of weird because now we live back in that town where we had sold that house, and we know that family. But like on multiple occasions, we've sent shit to that house that they just have not given it back. It's the weird, and then we'll casually mention it to us as if like there's nothing morally wrong with that. But
What?
yes, they have. Yes, shit has gone to that house, and they, like, at times they've mentioned that they had like a thumb rule that it was like, well, if it's a year after, like, whatever, they just kept it. So like my wife's mother had sent her like a subscription to something. I can't remember what it was, like a Valentine's thing, like a chocolates or something like that. And like after a year, they just kept it. They didn't send it back or say like return to sender or anything like that. So at any rate,
what's that?
So my original Nvidia Shield had gone back to this original address, and I wrote Nvidia and I said, hey, like I've shipped you guys my Nvidia Shield, like blah blah blah, and they're like, oh no, well we shipped to this. I'm like, that's not the address I gave you. That's the address on the original purchase order. And so for a while they were like, well, I mean, that's not our problem. That's your fault, and blah blah blah. And I was like, bruh, we about to burn all of social media down. And they were like, oh, that's okay. We'll send that. We actually think it's our fault now, and we'll send you. So I had that one for a very long time, and then I got rid of it, and then I bought the reboot. And I've kept it like for years. Like new Chromecasts have come out and all that stuff, and I'm like, this device is literally perfect. I mean, I wish it had the one original 500 gigabyte hard drive, which you can work around because now I think it keeps up to like a 1 terabyte card, and I don't use it, a micro SD card, and I don't use it for gaming anymore, so I don't need as much storage space. But like it's literally a perfect streaming device in my opinion. But it's just because I've been transitioning to the Apple ecosystem. Like I ordered that Apple 4K TV now, and I don't want Android devices around. So I mean I took it down 2 months ago, and it's been sitting up underneath a desk. So seriously, if you want that, I will wipe it and clear it and send it to you.
Oh, okay. So the one that I'm looking at on Amazon is $200. It's the Nvidia Shield Pro.
Is it the wedge or the tube?
It's the wedge.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I have.
Yeah, it's the Nvidia Shield Android TV Pro streaming media player, 4K HDR movies, live sports, Dolby Vision Atmos, AI enhanced upscaling, GeForce Now, cloud gaming, Google Assistant built in, works with Alexa.
Yeah,
that's $200.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. So I mean, your arrangement might be better than mine. One of my things is I had it down here in my gaming studio.
Mm-hmm.
I did not ever move it upstairs, where I probably would have preferred having it hooked up to like the 65-inch, 4K TV. But the problem is that because I'm logged into that device, that means anybody who gets on the device could like bring up my Google Calendar or my Gmail or any of that stuff. So like I was like, no, we're not doing that. But your setup might work good. But yeah, just let me know if you want it, and I'll send it to you.
All right, yeah, we'll have to talk after the show, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was actually thinking about. I was like, oh, maybe this is something I can put in the bag. And not that I really need it, only because honestly, like it's like an all-in-one for me. Like I look at it as gaming and streaming media, TV, more specifically TV, like using things like Netflix and stuff like that. But yeah, it looks cool.
So Jason, you're commenting in the chat. Jason, my problem is like these people literally know who we are. Like literally, like their kids and our kids like go to went to the same like childcare center for a while. Like we frequently see them. Their kids and our kids actually go, and I can't remember now because the schooling systems are all jumbled up since one kid has gone off to middle school. But like our kids have frequently been in like the same school. And then because they all do like performing arts, they're often like putting on plays together and all that stuff. Like what is flabbergasting to me, like I could get over the things that have happened, like when we were some disembodied like person who lived, in a town like 90 miles away. But now that we're literally back in the same town, and they're literally like sitting down at a barbecue, like in a chair, talking to you and telling you, yeah, I kept your stuff. Like I don't know. That's just something that wouldn't be me. Like I would make an effort to, worst case scenario, I would put it back in the mailbox, mark it as return to send, and what I definitely wouldn't do is I definitely wouldn't take the package, open it, see what's inside of it, and then make a decision to keep it or not. That's just weird to me.
Yeah, that's a little odd. I mean, like, hey, we got a package that was addressed to you, but we kept it. We didn't tell you about it. We kept it.
Yeah. I mean, like literally, like they're like the family who's close friends of ours because they used to be our neighbors. Again, because this is the family moved back into our old house. They're now neighbors with that family. So, like we have a mutual point of contact. Like I don't know, it's just weird.
I don't disagree with Hamp. It is kind of weird.
And Brian, it's my understanding it's a felony if it's U.S. mail, but I don't think it's a felony if it's like a UPS or a FedEx package.
Yeah, definitely is a felony if it's U.S. mail. Tampering with someone else's mail is a felony. All right, going back to Black Friday deals, Nintendo Switch bundle with Mario Kart and 8 Deluxe plus Switch Online is $225 at Best Buy for the standard version, and then $275 at Best Buy and Target for the OLED versions. They also have, and this would be great. Actually, I might pick this up. The for actually my for my Nintendo Switch, but the micro SD card for $32. That's $1.5. Is that where does that says $32? But this says $89 at Amazon. I don't know if that was. Doesn't say whereas the game.
Maybe that's the regular price, and the other one's the sales price. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So I guess my question, BRAP, is, and maybe we'll get into a little bit. So one of the things we covered on E2KG was the latest round of NPD numbers. The latest round of NPD numbers shows that hardware is, if I'm not mistaken, like 23% down year over year overall across the industry. Yeah. So that's the month of October. So there were things like I wondered, well, maybe the impending, Xbox updated SKUs and the PS5 Pro put a chilling effect on the industry, and people waited right until those things launched, and so maybe didn't buy a lot of consoles. Maybe a lot of consoles didn't move in the month of October, and so we were wondering, oh well, maybe November will be an up month, right? Because you'll have Black Friday, you'll have, and then you'll have the new console SKUs coming out. And the other thing I speculated was like, well, probably at this point, like I don't know that anybody should be buying a Nintendo Switch, right? And so probably in October, you would think a year ago. I mean, and I'm pretty sure that we commented about the numbers last year about how the Nintendo Switch was still just selling Bonga. At that point, Switch 2 date was not as corroborated, right, and officially confirmed as it is now. But I'm like, I see these sales, and I mean, they're fine numbers, but I'm like, who should be buying a Nintendo Switch at this point? Who should be investing in a 1.5 terabyte SD card for a Nintendo Switch right now?
Me? Especially if it's $30. Do you
not have a large capacity micro SD card already?
I don't know. I forget what I have.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for me, like, oh yeah, I can upgrade. Like Like for me, it's a matter of just upgrading, right? And if it's like $30, that's okay. And I'm hoping that, yeah.
But why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you wait to see? I mean, the Nintendo Switch 2, like, unless Nintendo really doubles down on being Nintendo and is super stingy with the onboard memory available in the Switch 2, like I mean, right now we don't know that the Switch 2 will use micro SD, right, for storage expansion. I just my curiosity is why would you? And I mean, and I guess I guess for that price, my comment on stuff like this often is like for $32 I can afford to be wrong, right? It's just a non-committal. I mean, is that why, just because the price is low enough that it doesn't matter what the Switch 2 does or whatever?
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter because I could probably, I could use it for, if Nintendo decides to do what Nintendo often does and decides to switch up the expandable storage solution for the Nintendo Switch 2, then I could just say, okay, I can give this to one of my kids for their Switch. So.
Do they play the Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, they do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was under the impression it was a Game Pass and PlayStation family.
Well, I mean, they that's where they primarily play. But they do play they do play the Switch. I mean, but it's mostly it's mostly PlayStation, Xbox, mostly PlayStation. And now my daughter's starting to game more too, so she's actually playing Nintendo Switch more.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, of course, what's in the comparator in my mind is, one of our co-hosts on E2KG. He has I mean, and I'm not saying anything negative about him. I respect it totally. But he's Catholic. He's got twice as many kids as you do, and literally they can't keep enough Switches in the house, right? Because the kids are all gamers.
Look, man, I'm Catholic, but I'm not having 8 kids, man. That's no, man.
I mean, that dude. That dude could have an esports competition on a LAN in his house, but I mean, literally, they're all rabid Switch players. Like the parents all the way down through all the kids. There's constantly a whole cycle of Switches disappearing, and the younger kids getting the Switch, and then them not being available for whatever. So I gave him my Nintendo Switches, or at least one of them. And so again, that's a household where the Switch is, any Switch hardware piece laying around is highly in demand. Like I said, I just had the impression that they wouldn't be as much in demand in your household. So
yeah,
if you can find a use for it,
yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting. I think that if I look at the Nintendo Switch bundle, to me this appeals to, and just I'm not saying this is going to be that the Switch is going to sell, going to be it's going to be the top of Circana this for the month of November because of Black Friday. But to me, this price point and these deals speak to some of the parents that I speak to who are like, oh, I've thought about the Switch, but kind of waiting for a sale, and to me, this is them. This speaks to those people. Or to maybe people who have lots of kids and maybe they haven't really thought about buying that extra Switch, and maybe that the $225 price point's the kind of thing that tips them over the edge to get one, for the holidays, because I think sometimes with the holidays we kind of think, at least what I do as a parent, I tend to, there's things I won't buy my kids, and then if I see it, that'd be nice for the holidays. It's on sale too. Why not? For the sake of the holidays, right? That I'll make that purchase. So,
yeah, it's a shame. I would hope those parents don't do things like some people I know and go out and buy a thing and then tell you about it afterwards and ask you, oh, did I get a good deal? I hope that they. I hope that they get informed because, again, if you make a conscious decision to go out and buy a Switch on discount, a bundle on a Black Friday deal now, great. If you're informed about it, but I would feel sad for those parents who do that and go out and then, on Christmas Day, little Johnny tells them, you do know the Switch 2 is coming out next
year. And I will be asking for that. Yeah. All right, and then the Joy-Cons are on sale for $60 at Walmart. I don't need any Joy-Con controller, so I'm good there. The Nintendo Switch Pro wireless controller. Actually, this is one I will probably pick up. It's $50 right now at Best Buy. So this is actually one I'll probably pick up just to have an extra laying around the house for the other kids' Switches. Then there's a PDP real. What is that? Real? I don't know. Wireless
PDP.
controller.
That's the company that's making the Samsung TV compatible Xbox controllers for playing Xbox Game Cloud.
Oh, okay. So they have the Pikmin edition of that. So anyhow, I'm not going to go through the rest of the things here. I'm going to go through some of the other games. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It's $35. Look at this, man. Nintendo, man. Nintendo's coming through with some discounts. I know you said we shouldn't pat him on the back, but this excites me. I might pick up.
It's like, look, I bought all that Apple stuff, right? And I commented about the I ain't patting Apple on the back for discounting those ridiculously priced AirPod Maxes, which normally retail for $550. You know?
That's too funny. What else? Super Mario Odyssey, great game, by the way. $30. It's half off. Let me ask you, do you think all these discounts point to what you just mentioned is going to happen next year in Nintendo Switch 2?
Well, I mean, I think it's Nintendo's got an interesting dynamic going on. I think that where the industry is and they're in a weird mix where I think the industry is in a place where it hasn't been before, and I think that's not to corroborate kind of all of the foolish, clickmongers who are running around talking about, oh, the industry's changing. Well, yes, the industry's been changing for 50 years. I know because I've been here watching it. But there are some unique dynamics going on in this post-pandemic time, and I think Nintendo is kind of coiling up for taking some different approaches to the way it has done things in the past. I am going to hold to the belief that we're going to see a slightly more sophisticated approach to Nintendo's online and digital strategy this time around, and a little less of the foolishness of like, oh, the Nintendo Switch Online app is on your phone. You want to join in live chat with your friends? Do that via your phone, right? I'm hoping we see some more sophisticated things this time around. So I think there is a mix of because the industry is where it is. Because of maybe a fear of people maybe not expending as much money on entertainment products, which is an unfounded fear. However, we do see market players responding to it as if it were a real thing. So I think that's leading to some of these discounts. I think that they are trying to compete and maybe take advantage of what's going on at Xbox and PlayStation. Like, it's super, super, super weird to me. Super strange to me that like everything on Xbox is just not on some like amazing fire sale. That there are no, as far as I know, there's no so in the streaming space, there's tons of discounts on streaming services. Like if you buy in at a year, you get it at some like extreme discount beyond what you normally get if you buy it at a year. There's the month-to-month prices that are slashed. It's amazing to me that there's not some blanket deal on Game Pass right now. But I think Nintendo is maneuvering to take advantage of those things, right? And same thing on the PlayStation side. Like I don't see any. Well, I guess the PlayStation 5 Slim is heavily discounted, right?
It was dropped to $350.
Yeah, so I thought
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Is that like $100? Is that $100 off?
Maybe not $3. Maybe it was $375.
Yeah, I think it was like $80 off. So it was like $380 or $370, something like that. So I think their market posturing for that. I think it's the end of the generation, so they think that there's going to be a knock on demand. And so, like you said, like there are parents who have like kind of waited on the sidelines, who they're like, now, let's cut those prices. And these are all sunk costs, right? So the generation's wrapping up; they're turning the corner. These things are if they're not at a, if they don't have depressed demand now, they're doggone sure going to have depressed demand next year when the Switch 2 launches. So
here's the thing. We talk about like parents, and I'm sure, I do really believe this. I think this plays into this consumer who's, like you said, has been waiting on the sideline. And potentially some consumers like me who, yeah, I'm aware of the Switch 2, but for someone like, but I also have a 6-year-old, right? And if I bought him a Nintendo Switch at $200 and what is it, $20, right? Let me go back up here. $225. I got him the standard edition Switch, and I threw in Mario here at $30, Animal Crossing at $35, Kirby at $35, 65, yeah, about $100. So $325, I'd say all in. I'm okay with that. And even knowing the Nintendo Switch 2 is on the horizon, I'm okay with that because he doesn't know any better. And he's going to be just content playing the Nintendo Switch and playing those games that I just got him for quite some time, So I think that this is because I can't recall any other time where I've seen Nintendo games really heavily discounted like this. I mean, we talked about Tears of the Kingdom. What was Tears of the Kingdom? $30, 50% off, 57% off at Walmart. That's crazy. For $40. Now we know Walmart has a history of discounting, heavily discounting games in comparison to places like GameStop and Best Buy. But I mean, like, even $40 for this game at Best Buy is a good deal. So, Mario Luigi Brothership, that's $41. Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door, it's $34. I mean, Nintendo's got some great deals here right now for games. I might actually go pick them in for something I've thought about. I've toyed with the idea of picking it up, but $35 might be that tipping point for me to go in and grab it. And that's at GameStop, $35. So, any other thoughts on Nintendo before we move on to PlayStation Logic?
No. Nope.
All right. Best PlayStation 5 deals. Here we go. $375 for the PlayStation Slim. We just talked about that. That's 17% off. PlayStation Plus Premium Annual Subscription, 30% off. Hamp. Now, does Target had a deal? Didn't Target have a deal a couple years ago with like Xbox Game Pass subscriptions or something, where you could stack? Nah, I don't remember now. Anyhow, PlayStation Plus Premium Annual Subscriptions, 30% off at $112. I don't think that's a bad deal. I don't think it's a bad deal. So if you're interested in the PlayStation Plus Premium tier. And I forget Logic. That's the top tier, right? I believe that's the top tier. There's so many PlayStation Plus, I feel like subscription tiers, and I've lost track. But I believe this is the top one.
There's only 3.
There's only, okay. Why do I feel like there's like 4 or 5?
I think because the media made much ado about nothing. Like there's 3 tiers, and then the one gotcha is that because some regions don't have the same may not have the same cloud streaming infrastructure or something like that. Then there's a 4th tier, but it's a replacement for the middle tier in those specific economic regions.
Yeah, so I might pick up this for me just to stack. I might pick this up and save myself 30%. Actually, Josh Ayers just mentioned in the live chat. He said I got the PS Plus deal. Now, Josh, were you an existing subscriber? Or are you stacking? I mean, are you an existing subscriber? Or are you new? Because if you're an existing subscriber, then you're stacking. But because that's I might pick this up just to stack. Excuse me. Oh my God. I tell you, this metallic taste. Oh, it's terrible. I might have to step away here in a sec, Hamp, and get some candy or something. PlayStation VR 2 bundle. It's almost half off, 42%, $349 on Amazon. This one doesn't surprise me, Hamp. I don't think they've sold many of these. Are you surprised by this
No,
price point?
I'm surprised it's not deeper.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, because they're not really investing in making new games for it. So like what I mean, literally, like the only reason that thing would still be being sold would be for PC gamers who were planning on getting it. And for what I understand, the PC integration is janky. So
Yeah.
like I don't. Again, to me, it for me as a consumer, it would seem to be in the same market space as a Nintendo Switch. Like why would you go out and buy something that's end of life basically?
Yeah, I question how long Sony's going to stay in the VR space now. Because we haven't seen much in the way of support of the PlayStation VR 2 recently. I don't know. I mean, I mean, are they honestly at this point it would surprise me if they came out with the PlayStation VR 3. I'd be surprised by that. I could be wrong. But I thought they were scaling back on PSVR 2 development, weren't they? Isn't that something? Let me see something here.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and didn't they shut down a studio that was a PSVR studio?
That's what I thought. Let me see something here. Yeah, there was a report June of this year that Sony is reportedly decreasing its investment in virtual reality gaming, with the publisher said to have only 2 first-party games in development for PSVR 2. So to your point, Hamp, yeah, I to your point, if you're not surprised it being discounted more, yeah, I could see that because of what we know about, Sony kind of scaling back on development based on what came out and what was being reported in June of this year. But I mean, I could also see some people like, hey, there's enough there in the catalog that maybe I dip my toes and $350.
And Brian needs asked a question out of curiosity, guys. Have you tried the PSVR 2? Brian needs to know I haven't, and I didn't have the PSVR, so my comments are not about my own personal takes on the device. I'm also pretty sure I haven't said like the device sucks or whatever like that. This is purely my observation of what's going on the market and my commentary on supply and demand and if supply and demand is equating to what it is, then why does this thing land where it's landing price wise on a Black Friday discount, and what is the likely uptake of it, and how does it sit in the consumer space?
Yeah, I'm just thinking if this thing is this thing's almost discounted half off. I'm guessing if this thing was selling well, you probably would see something maybe a third at the most, a third off, right?
I mean, we're so I asked the question, why isn't it just? I would think it would be discounted more. That's simply a commentary on supply and demand. If I look at competition wise, what other things are in the space, I think it's probably stacks up pretty decently against other offerings that are in the space. If the notion is that you're selling it at a discount to hit an addressable market of PC gamers who would pick this up as an alternative to primarily a PC oriented headset and kit. But like I said, my understanding the last time I read was that the PC integration wasn't great. And even if it's improved since then, we all know that, often the market has a problem coming back to something if it doesn't stick the landing originally, right? People hear that it's bad or problematic at launch, and then people often don't check back into it. So that would, even if it is priced competitively against other suitable substitutes, that could still be a problem with uptake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you brought up an interesting point about the price point, that $350 price point. I just forgot what I was going to say now. COVID. I'm gonna blame that on brain fog from COVID. Yeah, the MetaQuest 3 right now is $500. I don't see any Black Friday deals for that, by the way. Hold on just a sec here. I stand corrected. Oh, Best Buy had a Black Friday doorbuster sale that gets you the headset with Batman Arkham Shadow, a 3-month MetaQuest Plus subscription, and a $75 Best Buy gift card. Yeah, and the MetaQuest, the 512 gigabyte version is $500.
Yes, but and again, I get it. Lots of consumers will not be aware of that. But remember, Meta is also cutting back investment in the MetaQuest product line.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you can go out and grab it at discount, but I would be right now. I would have a contingency plan for dumping that thing. If Facebook / Meta isn't gonna go hard at it. I mean, they've slashed their hardware team. They've cut spending by 20%. They've Reality Labs has cost them billions of dollars in losses. So yeah, I just don't. I wouldn't have super confidence in that right now.
All right, so let's go to the other Sony deals. The PS5 DualSense controller is $54. If you need an extra controller, it's 28% off. It's on Amazon right now. If you're looking for expandable storage, you can get a Western Digital Black SN850X with a heatsink for $90. That is a 1 terabyte. Actually, that's not bad, Hampa. $90 for 1 terabyte. That ain't too shabby. There's also a Backbone 1 second-gen mobile gaming controller. Excuse me. It supports PlayStation Remote Play. It's $70. The Sony InZone Buds are $168 right now. And then Pacific Drive is retailing for $25, 30% off. Have you played Pacific Drive, Hamp?
No.
No, you've not. Yeah, I've thought about picking that up. Heard some good things about it. People played it. Let's go to some video games here. Final Fantasy 16, half off for $25. Not a bad game. Look, if you haven't played it, you're interested in Final Fantasy, I'd recommend it at $25. I think it's a good deal. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is $40. That is one of the games nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards show. If you haven't played it, $40 is a great time to pick it up. Astrobot is $50 at Amazon. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is $40 at Best Buy and at PlayStation Direct. Helldivers 2. Hey, did Helldivers 2 win Game of the Year at the Golden Joysticks? Let me look this up.
No, they did not. Black Myth Wukong won.
Oh. They won Game of the Year somewhere.
I think it was maybe the multiplayer Game of the Year.
Oh, that's what it was. Thank you. That's what it was. Helldivers 2, I would say this year's big surprise hit. One of this year outside of Power World. $30 right now at Best Buy, Amazon, PlayStation Direct. The Last of Us. Now, Hamp, I saw this. Now, I go back. I have this kind of love-hate relationship with The Last of Us Part 2, because The Last of Us Part 1 was so good. Part 2, it's not that I hated Part 2. I have some issues with it. It's still a good game, really good game. It's just not as good as 1, I think. But I actually might pick this up for $40 to play the remastered version for PS5.
So I'm sorry, just to loop back to not a correction necessarily, but an update. So Helldivers 2 at the Golden Joysticks won the Critics' Choice Award. It also won Console Game of the Year. So if you
that's what it was.
That's what it was. Yes.
Yes, that's what I was referring to. Console Game of the Year. Yeah,
I think, and it did win Best Multiplayer Game as well.
All right. So I might pick that up. Silent Hill 2. I'm surprised to see this discounted so quickly. But but I think that could be maybe an indicator of how the game's selling. It's 60% off at Walmart, and it's actually $20 off at Best Buy on place. $50 at Best Buy and $30 at Walmart. And this is I thought about I like the original Silent Hill 2. I don't know if I want to go back and replay it, but this is a baby for me. I might pick this up, but we'll see. So there's anything here, Hamp, that interests you? You don't have a PlayStation, never mind. So we'll move on.
Glad you said it, so I didn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot. I know you have 3 Xboxes in the house. So this.
No, I don't. I actually took my Xbox to GameStop. Yeah, I took my that Xbox was my last console, and I am now no consoles in the house.
Well, no, I was saying you have the real. What I meant to say is you have the real Xbox PC.
What is that? My iPhone or my Mac Mini?
Yeah,
those are supposedly Xboxes now.
Yeah, your TV upstairs is an Xbox.
So ridiculous.
All right. All right. Best Xbox deals. The Xbox Series X is $400 right now. You can buy that at Best Buy. You get the all-white digital one is $400. The Xbox Series X 2 terabyte is not on sale. But if you get it at Best Buy, they'll throw in a $75 gift card. So there you go. Use that to buy a game or a controller. The Xbox Series S is $250 at Best Buy. Xbox wireless controller is $40 at Amazon and Best Buy.
So how much is that? How much is that off on the Series S?
Only 17% off.
Okay, but it's $50.
It's $50. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the same thing. That's the same thing they have on the Microsoft Store itself.
Yeah, that's actually not bad if you're looking to pick up a Series S, $250.
No, but it's the same discount that they gave before, right? When it was unknown just how far behind they were. So it's just weird to me.
So what you're saying is you're surprised it's not discounted more,
right?
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I think at this point, even discounts may not help them. But this right here, the Seagate, this is they got it wrong this generation with how they handled storage expansion.
Yeah, but I still stand on the square that yes, but that was because they couldn't foresee right where the market was going to go. I mean, at the beginning of the generation, that in a PCIe 4 NVMe that met the PS5 specs were in the same ballpark on price. What they didn't anticipate was that how much the price was going to drop out of those things over the ensuing year.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's another conversation. All right. The PDP Victrix Pro BFG modular wireless controller, $140 at Woot. And then the Seagate expansion storage card is $130 right now. At $130 at Best Buy for 1 terabyte. The Fire Stick TV box bundle, or not box, Xbox bundle. That's $75. It includes a Fire Stick TV, an official Xbox controller, and various control. It includes a Fire TV stick and an official Xbox controller and various controls, and 1 month of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for streaming games over the cloud. Again, that is $75 Amazon, and 41% off. That's actually not a bad deal. You throw in a controller, it's not bad.
So I want to take one question, right? So Jason says, how could they not anticipate a proprietary memory card being more expensive than 2380 form factor NVMe? So first of all,
that's the question I was going to ask Camp, by the way, considering that it's Microsoft. But go ahead.
So let's please not stand on the square of Sony and their approach to proprietary memory. Right? Sony has spent decades making proprietary media formats and sticking with them at high cost in comparison to the rest of the industry that's moved on. I would hold that the reason they did, yeah, I would hold that the reason that they didn't anticipate it was because when you look at the price of SSDs, and the price reductions by which they've come down, SSDs have not come down nearly as quickly as this generation of PCIe 4 NVMe's has. NVMe 2.5-inch SSDs were around in the early 2000s, and I didn't start building with them, and it took about a decade or more for them to come down to what to me is a reasonable consumer price to put them in DIY PCs. They were still being sold at premium prices for a very long time. So and then remember we're also right in the pandemic as that's happening. And there were supply constraints. So even I have been surprised how much NVMe costs have come down this generation. So I mean, like I said.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I was just surprised. Again, I was just surprised because it's Microsoft, but maybe I'm giving them too much credit. But Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, $25. That's actually a great price for one of the early highly rated games of this year. So, wait, Infinite Wealth come out this year? Now I forget. Damn, I don't know how I forget stuff. Yes, that was early this year. I was thinking of something else, but
I think Forte
$25.
It's Forte. You may. I don't know. Do you see Forte in the StreamYard studio? I don't know if he's.
I don't want to see him. See, Forte only shows up every once in a while. Forte can wait. All the times I've been waiting for Forte to join BRAP, Forte can wait a little bit.
He's probably here because Detroit won yesterday.
He probably is. Let me get Forte. Oh, look, Forte's graced us with his presence. He's at GameStop right now.
Forte, what? I'm always at work. I just came in. I just come to say Happy Thanksgiving and say hello.
You didn't even like call me, see how I'm doing, man. I'm sick. The COVID finally got me.
Forte, how about the Lions?
How about those Bears that should have won the game, but they
bruh, that was like literally to me that was professionally embarrassing. How you cannot recognize with 15 seconds winding down the clock what you should be. The only, and I haven't listened to all the posts. The only thing I wonder is if when he was waving when he was waving at his helmet, whether or not he had a comms problem and he couldn't hear the call from. But I think he was asking, "What the hell is the play?"
He could call timeout once he saw that it was like 20 seconds. The clock was winding.
He had poor clock management that whole game. Twice before that, they should have been called for a delay a game because the clock round down and struck 0, but the refs didn't call it.
They didn't call it. Yeah, it was. I was looking at that game and I was like, "Well, this is going to overtime." And then when Zadarius Smith got that sack, I was like, "Oh crap! They knocked about a field goal range. Just 34 seconds left." And then I'm just watching the clock tick down, and I'm like, "Dude, you got a timeout."
Yeah,
it was wild, bro.
Amazing.
Yeah, but I was just calling to say Happy Thanksgiving. I just saw the listen, even if I'm not here, Brad, I'm always listening to the show. I just, I had to excuse myself in the front of the store because I'm tired. The coffee that ran through my veins since 8:00 this morning is depleted. I'm tired. So I had to excuse myself to the back room, and I said, "Well, I'm back here. Why not jump on here and see how you guys are doing?"
So Forte, let me ask you a question, man. What are you seeing on Black Friday, man? What are some of the hot selling items? There's someone behind you, Forte.
I know. Lexi's behind me. Lexi, what was the hot selling item this morning when you got here at 5 o'clock in the morning? What was the hottest thing
Lexi, hey, you need to send Lexi home, man. She's been there for 12 hours.
Well, she just came. No, she did an early shift and left and came back. Dedication. Oh yeah, it's just mostly games. Like we sold some consoles today. I want to say we probably sold a good amount, not like crazy.
What consoles did you sell the most of?
Yeah, we sold like probably I think probably like 5 or 6 PlayStations today, a couple of Xbox Series X's, the new white digital one I know we sold one of. I sold like 3 of the 1 terabyte S's. I sold at least 4 Switches today, the bundles with Mario Kart. And outside of that, it was just mostly like used
Games.
games or games
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Oh, a lot of hard
How about
drives.
accessories? Accessories, hard drives.
Like
There you go.
a lot of hard drives, like the internal hard drives for both systems, the expansion for Xbox. So mostly stuff like that, and people trading up. You know what I know? We haven't sold a Pro today. Now that I think about it, and we got like 7 of them. We haven't sold one yet today. You know why? Because nobody want to spend $700. Not right now, at least.
Yeah, I saw the Pro still available at my local Walmart. They have
Oh
one
no,
left.
yeah, we
Yeah.
just got restocked on them, so we
Yeah.
pretty much everybody pretty much has them and stuff, and I mean, and then you got to think it really just makes the price disparity much bigger since everybody has PlayStation 5 bundles on sale for either digital for 374 or new for or the disc one for 220 424. So now you're instead of it being a $200 difference or a $250 difference, it's a $325 difference or a $350 difference between those systems now.
Yeah.
So, because I tried to get somebody to buy one and he was like, yeah, he said, do I really need it? I said, do you care about graphics and do you care about performance? He said, yeah, I do, but I stayed on PS4 this whole time until now. And the only reason I'm getting it is because I know a lot of the games are not going to be on PS4 anymore. And I was like, well, if you're only moving up because you know they're not going to make games for PS4 anymore, then basically the PS5 base is going to be great for you. And it's going to be better than what you got on PS4. And he was like, yeah, I'd rather save the $300 until I need and buy games and stuff and extra accessories. So that's what kind of he pretty much got like 5 or 6, like 5, because a lot of games are on sale right now. So he bought a bunch of games, an extra controller, a headset. He bought the digital, not the he bought the base system with the disk drive, and it was still less than that. Everything came up to I think like $30 more than the Pro would have cost by itself.
Forte, do you guys have any hot PC deals in the store like you did last year when you were trying to sell BRAP 3080 Ti?
No, man, because everything's online now. They don't. I mean, they have PC stores, but in our area, the closest one is like 45 to 50 minutes away. So yeah, they scaled that back a lot to just online offers and stuff like that. But I saw that there was a couple of them, but it's just a lot of that stuff got ate up because they started the holiday sales on the 22nd. So they've been going on for pretty much a whole week at this point. The only things that started today was the discount on used systems, which is like 30% off, and then the buy two get one free started today too.
Gotcha.
So yeah, man, it's been something. It's been cool, and another holiday halfway over. Well, another Black Friday, I should say.
Has it been busy? Like,
They told. Well, I didn't get. I got here like what 3 or 4 hours after we opened. So they said ever since like for the first hour they were kind of busy, like between 5 and 6. Then between 6 and 7 it died down. But then it's pretty much been nonstop in here since 8 o'clock this morning. Like nonstop. Like, we'll probably have like 30, 40 people in line. We'll get through that, which takes about a good hour, like a half an hour to get through to an hour. And then, it's like kind of a low, probably for like 15, 20 minutes. And then next thing you know, our store is full again. So pretty crazy.
all right.
It's been pretty busy here. I mean, it really depends on your area. Like my store is like really centrally located, like off like off 2 major roads and stuff. So, we're pretty much off a highway. So it's pretty beneficial for the area that we're in. So we're gonna see traffic no matter what.
Forte.
Yo.
Are you still a better gamer than Slow-Mo?
Depends on what you mean by better gamer.
You know what I'm saying. Are you better at gaming than he is? Yes or no?
Well, see, listen, I'm not going to belittle my brother and then say I'm a better gamer.
Look, it's not belittling. It's a yes or no
No,
question.
I'm just going to say, I'm just going to say, if I play games as much as Slomo played, there will be an argument that I am a better gamer. But since he
Uh,
plays way more than
so,
I do, I have to just get on his level first.
so what you're saying is Slow-Mo doesn't work, nor does he sleep.
No, well, listen, that's kind of part of it. That's the
Are you
benefit of
saying that? Are you saying that
that's the
man neglects
benefit.
his family?
No, he doesn't neglect his family. He neglects his health by not sleeping, though.
He does neglect his. I need to talk. We need to have an intervention. That man does
I be
not
telling
sleep.
that man be. It's been many times I did call slow mo in the morning, like when normal people are up, and he's like just like, oh, I'm like, what's wrong?
What am I doing? What am I
What
doing?
about yeah? But like dying literally in the middle of the day, like 11 o'clock in the morning. But no, yeah, he plays a lot, and so I don't want to say I'm a better gamer because I have to prove that I'm a better one because he plays more than me right now. But if we put it this way, if we play the same amount, I would.
No, we lost you there, Forte.
No,
Logic, can you hear?
you
Is he
can't hear me
back?
now.
No, I can hear you now. Yeah,
No, somebody called on my phone. But yeah,
probably slow mo.
I would bet on myself 99.5% of the time if I played as much as Slomo.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Big Forte. Do you think that like previous years have been busier with Black Friday than this year? It's a you can kind of see just based on your facial reaction, kind of kind of the hesitation there a little bit. When
Nah,
Logic gets,
I
yeah.
wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now, like actually sit down and take a break. I mean, I would be able to take a break, but I'll be like, let me get back out there because I'm looking at the camera and I'm like, I'm gonna sit
So it
here.
sounds like
I'm gonna sit back here like 15 more minutes.
yeah.
Right.
So let me. Do you think that is maybe just and I wonder if it's a byproduct
No,
of
I think it's a
yeah.
byproduct of everybody starting their sales just early.
Okay.
If PlayStations were on sale only today or throughout this weekend, I think it would be busier. But the fact that like some retailers started, I think on November 20th, we didn't start to the 22nd. So the big ticket items for the most part have been on sale for going on a week and a half at this point. So um, you pretty much, if you wanted that deal, you already got it. So there's no reason to rush to the store to get it today, even though some people did do that. So I think it's just the byproduct of people just shopping early, and you know also I think at the retail space, it kind of helps with just the overall like having so many associates in the store at one time. Since you can sell them earlier in the week, it kind of spreads out the customer base a little. You're not getting that one huge drop. Like if this was a normal Black Friday where everything went on sale on a normal Black Friday, we would have been open at 5 o'clock, and with the PlayStations dropping $75 in price, we probably would have had like 100 people outside. But since they started early, that got dispersed over the course of a week.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been slower, and it's been slower every year. But I think this year is just more due to the fact that everything just came out early. So, and there's
Yeah.
really no games to push it right now. No really big games to push. Like last year we had Spider Man, because they
Uh-huh.
had the Spider Man bundles and stuff for PlayStation and stuff. So the bundle this year is NBA for the digital one and the Fortnite bundle.
Yep. I saw the Fortnite
So
bundle one. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, there's really nothing pushing people to be like, oh, I need to go in there and get this deal, unless it's like NBA. And I had some people do that, but not as much as it was for like Spider-Man and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean the truth that needs to be capitulated to is the industry is down bad.
Oh, it's definitely down bad. Like we a lot of people it's just not enough reasons for people, I feel like, yet to like upgrade yet. There's still people sitting on the fence to decide if they want to jump over to Xbox Series S and X or PS5. Um, and then on top of that, there's just no games really. No, I ain't gonna say no games, but the big games that people play that make them move off consoles, they're still available on the console they have. So
It's a down year for AAA.
yeah, and
I mean,
that
you
too.
look at the Game Awards. Look
Yeah,
at the
the game of the
nominations.
year.
Look
Look
at
at
the
the
things
nominations.
that are blown up. Like this is a
Yeah,
year
that's-
where it's not as filled with big Michael Bay AAA summer blockbuster style movies that have wide appeal. The ones that have hit are either a console exclusive or they're niche.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
like a game, and I that's why I kind of argue that point that in a year like last year, you wouldn't have seen Elden Ring DLC be nominated for Game of the Year at the award show. It just would have happened. It's even maybe a game like Metaphor Fantasio maybe doesn't make it. You know,
Well, I think
um,
the fact that they got
yeah.
DLC in there is a big reason to why game of like he said, AAA is down.
I
We
mean,
got DLC in there.
I mean, for me, like this has been a good for me personally. It's been a good year for gaming, but that's my personal taste. But I understand what Logic's saying. Like to your point, like when you think about those games that really appeal to a wider audience, not those niche titles like I think you just mentioned, or we haven't had a lot of that. Right? Last year there was Baldur's Gate 3,
Right.
and there was and a month and a bunch of other games that came out last year that were really good. There's no Baldur's Gate 3 this year. There's no. Yeah, go ahead, Forte.
No, I'm just gonna say you just got to think of every year except for this year. There's been a big game that's kind of pushed the narrative, like for not for third party forward. Like this year, it's not really been one like that outside of the games that people play already. So we're not, you don't Call of Duty, NBA, Madden, stuff like that doesn't like it doesn't really register in the game of the year or like in the award categories. So even though people are playing those games and they come out every year, those aren't the games that really move the needle on a consistent basis like that. You're talking about like last year you had, like you said, you had Larian Studios come out with their game. Then the year before that you had Elden Ring. No, year before that was that Cyberpunk or Elden Ring? Or did those come out in the same year?
No, what did Elden Ring came out in 2022?
Okay, so it was
And
Cyberpunk
2023.
So yeah, that was Cyberpunk last year, even though they did have a lot of issues with the game at the beginning, it still garnered a lot of conversation throughout the whole year. And a lot of people went out to, purchase and buy that game. And they always go, and I always go back to the point that even with them doing mass refunds of that game on Steam, on Xbox, and on PlayStation, when it was all said and done, that game still sold 12 million copies after they did refunds and everything to people. So what would it have done if they didn't have to do refunds and it worked and it was a game that worked for everybody? So that just lets me know like a lot of people were really really clamoring for that game. So even knowing it was kind of a misstep by CD Projekt Red when it came to it, a lot of people still wanted that game, and that game still showed up really well at Game of the Year, not for during the awards. And then the year before that, Elden Ring came out, and everybody was talking about that game, and it won Game of the Year. So um, it's just not that one big third party game or first party game that just really stands out to make people like, oh, that's awesome. Like, we don't have that Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild or even Mario Wonder game from Nintendo this year that kind of does it. They even had, for, a video game award standpoint, kind of had a dud year when it came to like their games too. So it's just down all over the place. And I think people just looking for something different. Like everything has kind of been done and people are just waiting for next generation to finally arrive with all the people just moving over, or just that game that's going to captivate people to make them want to, really have that.
GTA 6.
Well, that's the game that's going to move everybody, but are we 100% confident it's going to come out in 2025?
That's what they say. We'll find out. But
You know, Rockstar can wait to 2026 and 2027, and people aren't going to complain because they know when it comes, it's going to be great.
yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, let me grab this super chat here from Warwana. Super chat says Corey M. You told us Astro was at 4.5 million sales? Question mark. I don't know what you guys are talking about in the chat. But thank you for that super chat. Go ahead, not Logic Forte.
No, I was just about to say I'm about to go back. I took my 15-minute break. I need to go back to work now. I get off in like an hour and a half. But I know I haven't came through, and I apologize about that. It's like
Oh, it's all good, man. It's
running
all
two
good.
stores is like
Wait,
the
you're
craziest
still
thing
running
ever.
2 stores?
Yeah, I still run 2 stores. So
Jeez.
it's so when I'm like not working at one, I feel like I'm working at the other because I'm always answering questions there. So one of these days I'll get back to being full throw because I've been trying to get back to making content again, and it's like by the time I get home, I'm like, man, I don't want to do nothing but just exist.
Forte,
So
you should have a lot of company here. The sense I get based on everything that I see is that the Lions are becoming they're getting all of the bandwagon fans who
yeah, they are.
who can't stand Kansas City. So anybody who's
Oh.
tired of seeing Kansas City when is suddenly becoming a Lions fan, they think they may be the great hope.
No, listen, let me tell you something.
More like the great choke.
Let me tell you something. I watch, we got, I watch a lot of college football. Everybody knows Michigan. I love Michigan. Went there, love that place. We play Ohio State this week. So biggest match, game of the biggest rivalry ever in college. And I watch a lot of like Ohio State Buckeye YouTube videos and stuff for like streams and stuff with people talking about it. And there are so many people that live in Ohio. And if you live in Michigan, you hate Ohio. And if you live in Ohio, you hate Michigan. But those people in Ohio, it's like, you know what? I hate Michigan, but god dang, I'm a Lions fan. You know why? Because I'm tired of the Chiefs and the Browns suck. Oh man, it's so great. But yeah, there's a lot of bandwagoners out there, and I can't wait to see because we got the Chiefs coming up. So it's gonna be we got the Bills next week, and hopefully we run into the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. We should have played them last year, but we blew a 17-point lead in the NFC Championship game with balls bouncing off our helmets and stuff. But it is what it is.
All
It
right,
is
man.
what it is. But I will see you guys later. You guys have a great weekend and enjoy your
Yeah, you too,
holiday.
Forte. You too, man.
And hope you guys had a happy and a great Thanksgiving. And
You
with
too,
that
sir.
being said, go blue, go Lions. I don't know what you call the Commanders. Jayden Daniels is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and we stole the number one quarterback in college from LSU. So shout out to anybody that thought LSU was going to win something again next year. All right, we talk to y'all later, man. Peace out.
All right, Forte. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Yep, definitely.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. All right, that's the great gaming Forte. All right, so let's go to some other games here. Hamp, we got Dragon's Dogma 2 at $34. Ooh, I might have to pick that up too. It's at Green Man Gaming. Picked that up on PC. $40 on Amazon. Unicorn Overlord. Oh, I need to get to this game, by the way. Now, is this let me see something here. This is for Xbox Series. I wonder if it's also 30 for PlayStation 5. Let me see something. This is a game I believe you have played, right, Hamp?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. Unfortunately, it's console only. So since I've given up consoles, I don't have access to it right now.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it's also $30 on PS5 as well. So you can get both. Yeah. All right. So it's $30. Visions of Mana is actually $44 right now. On a Black Friday deal for Amazon, as is Persona 3 Reload for PlayStation 5 is $25 right now for Black Friday. It's also $25 for for the Xbox Series X as well. It's also in Game Pass too. But Metaphor ReFantazio, which is my game of the year, is currently $45 at Fanatical. It's $50 at Best Buy, $50 at Amazon, and it's also $50. It's actually $50 for both the PS5 and Xbox versions. Then Alan Wake 2 is $50 at GameStop, $50 at Amazon. The Deluxe Edition is $80 at Target. So those are some of the great games that are on sale for Xbox. Elden Ring is $20. Persona 3 Reload, I just mentioned, is $25. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition is $40. Assassin's Creed Mirage is $20. And I got some other games here. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 is $45 at GameStop, $50 on Amazon. Tekken 8 is $30. Sonic 10 Shadows Generations, or Sonic X Shadow Generations, is $30 on Amazon, $30 at Best Buy. Dragon Age, the Veilguard, it's $54 at Walmart, Amazon, $70 at Best Buy. I don't sell at Best Buy, so. Ham, I'm not going to ask you if you have any interest in, any interest in those games. Some of those games are PC titles.
No, most of those I already have.
All right. The one that interests me is Unicorn Overlord and Dragon's Dogma 2. It's Space Marine 40,000. Space Marine 2, actually. And Dragon Age Veilguard.
If I don't have them, I'll put them on my Steam wish list and get a much better discount than consoles ever will.
Woo! Oh man. Well, we do tend to get better deals on PC, but another conversation. So, all right. Speaking of PC deals, Hamp, we have an Asus 27-inch QHD OLED monitor for $550 at Best Buy. Lenovo Legion Go, $500. Samsung 49-inch Odyssey OLED G9 gaming monitor, $1,079 at Best Buy, Walmart, Amazon, 40% off. And if you're looking to buy, look, Hamp, this is close to a PS5 Pro. $700 get you an iBuy Power Scale gaming PC because of the Intel Core i5 processor, a mid-range Nvidia GeForce RTX 4060, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a terabyte SSD.
I will say that config and that build 10,000 feet above anything any knucklehead Twitter YouTuber posted about. Oh, you could build a PC for $700.
Yes, the PC specs that people were giving were, yeah. Actually, this isn't bad though. I mean, this is $1,000 PC. If you're looking for a cheap entry level for like a mid-range PC, this is actually not bad.
It's kind of like I said, the PCs people were putting up were like the only addressable market I would recommend those to is broke-ass college kids who don't have any money, who like that's what they buy because that's all they can afford, and it makes sense, right? Because they're gonna buy something super low and then they're gonna grow into it, right? But like again, I don't know. We won't get into it. But yeah, that's not a horrible deal for somebody looking to come in at the entry level. I don't know that iBuy Power is the brand that I would necessarily recommend. But yeah, not a horrible way to get your feet wet.
Yeah. What do you think of that monitor, that Asus 27-inch?
I'm not really sure. I think overall, with regards to PC prices, like PC components especially, are one of the things that you don't pull the trigger on just because there's a Black Friday deal. Like you go and do the research. There was a I forget what the name of the site was. I was registered on it and then I got rid of it because I just don't buy. But like you need to go and look at like the historic prices on a thing and make sure that the discount for Black Friday, particularly on Amazon, is actually like the lowest price it's ever been. Because very, very frequently the game is let me raise the price on the thing right the month before Black Friday, so that when I discount it, like it looks like it's a bigger discount than it really is. And often, particularly things on Amazon, like that Black Friday price point is not the price point that it's been at the lowest ever. So you really need to be careful about PC components. like the only way I would buy like a monitor on Black Friday is because I had been tracking it and it was on my list and I had already picked it out before, and then I saw it go on discount right on Black Friday.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so basically do your homework. Let me see if this is actually like a deal.
Yeah, don't come out in these streets on Black Friday trying to buy a PC component because you think you're getting a good deal, because you stand a good chance to get duped.
Yeah. All right, we got an Asus ROG Ally X for $700, 13% off at Best Buy. Steel Series Artist Nova 5, $100. That's actually not bad for the headsets. Yeah, that's it for. I don't. Here we go. There's the other thing here. The Samsung 90 Pro SSD without heatsink, $120. That's a 2 terabyte. SSD. It's M.2, by the way, at $120. So those are some of the Black Friday deals that are going on right now. I did see some games, as I mentioned earlier. See some games that I'm interested in. I may go pick up. It's probably about 4 or 5 here that I'll pick up that are I think at a good price. So happy Black. Yeah, good.
Priscilla's got the place that I used to be registered. So I mean, what you should really do is sign up at Camel. Put things on your list, track it through that, so that you can actually see the historic pricing on the thing and see the float, and determine when is the right time to actually buy it. Or when you see something on Black Friday, then you can go to Camel and plug it in and just see what the historic price trend on it has been.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay, that's good to know then. So that's the website that you would go to then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Hamp. So we have some Sony reportedly making a handheld console to compete with Nintendo and Microsoft. This actually broke earlier in the week. I was reading a little bit of the Verge article here. Sony's currently making a new handheld gaming console that allows users to play PlayStation 5 games anywhere. This is according to Bloomberg. The console is being developed to compete against Nintendo and Microsoft in the portable gaming market. It is likely years away from launch if Sony decides to release it at all. So what do you think about this, Hamp? I'm not going to go through the whole article here, but a lot of people were talking about this news item. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I know people want it. Let me back up. I know that there is a demographic that says that they want it.
Right? There are some people that want it, yeah.
I just don't know how well it plays on the market, at scale. And the thing that to me is again problematic, again with Sony, is that what does this mean? This means that you bifurcate your current dev teams, that you bring on new dev teams, right? Because you need somebody to now, unless they've figured out a way to make development concurrent, right? But with the PSP and with the Vita, those were different dev teams creating games to deploy to different target hardware. So it was not concurrent and harmonized with what they were doing on the big boy console, which was one of the concerns cited for why they did the Portal, because they didn't want to make that investment. So unless they've solved that problem from a technical perspective, I just don't know what this is going to do. When you look at what's going on currently we just talked about the PSVR 2, right? It's a non-concurrent SKU that you're making games for that is differentiated from your big money makers. And if you either don't make the investment for that thing to go over big, or it's just not going over big, or there are problems in the production pipeline like we've seen this time, then when the whole thing gets snarled up, it's what do? It doesn't necessarily have the when you're managing games at a portfolio level, and you have a game that doesn't do well, right? Then based on the way we do cost center accounting, you can find some balance there. But that's not necessarily the same with a product line that's just completely off on its own like this. So I don't know. I just don't know how well it's gonna play out. And I mean, and admittedly, like the smoke in the mirror is you can't really tell where the handheld market is going to be like in 5 years from now. Today, what I contend is all this fervor over handhelds, and I'm like, okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Steam Deck has sold maybe 3 million-ish kind of units. Everything else, all these Windows handhelds, like they've sold in the tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands for like what I think maybe the ROG product line has sold in the hundreds of thousands. Everything else is anemic to the point of asking the question, why would you even bother? So, I mean, all of this fervor is based on this notion that at some point it's going to hit some tip over point and go huge. Maybe. I will say what is interesting from a technology perspective is, there are indications, right, that, well, maybe this is a space Qualcomm is going to get into. Maybe Intel is going to deploy Lunar Lake there. Maybe the Nvidia chip could be. Now, so if that makes the space interesting and you really get some differentiated competition there, that could push this thing, right, to go big. But right now, this thing smells to me like 3D TVs in VR.
Really, 3D TVs? I mean, it's a thing though. I mean, like there is and we talked about on this show, there is a segment of the market that wants handheld, that buys handheld consoles or devices, right? And I wonder if, much like VR, this is just Sony's way of dipping their toes in the pool and kind of more of a high-end handheld device that will allow you to play allow you to play PlayStation games, access the, much like you do with the Steam Deck. The report also says that the portable console could natively play PS5 games without an active Wi-Fi connection. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you bring up an interesting point though, Hamp. Like, from a developer perspective, what is that? And I don't know if you're asking the question, what does that look like? That was my interpretation of what you said. Correct me if I'm wrong here. But it seems like that's kind of what you're asking, right? Like what does that development look like? Because when the PSP came out, they had like different development teams for the PSP, and then so that you had those teams developing resources to the PSP to make a version of a particular first party game that was going to be on PlayStation, right?
Well, also remember a big part of the PSP library was just like, portable. Like there wasn't a ton of uniqueness. Right? It was the criticism of the PSP library, right? They were all like portable versions of, which is weird. I mean, that's what we said back then. I don't know that's the same criticism we would have now. I mean, now it seems like that would probably be exactly what I would want. Would be, hey, take the big IP, take the IPs that I am in love with on the big console, right, and make small versions, right? But back on the PSP, or it was PSP, maybe it was PSV. Like that was the criticism that, like, hey, there's nothing really new here. They're just all like variants of like franchises that we play on big consoles. So, what's the get?
Yeah, what is the Sony? We know that Sony's a hardware company. I mean, like they do make. Are they making batteries of any sorts for like for portable devices? Is that something they're in? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I don't know that they're a battery manufacturer. I want to say pretty sure Samsung has a battery division, but I'm not sure.
But they do make screens. We know that Sony makes screens, right?
So Sony's big claim to fame is that they make camera lenses, and so like 99% of your mobile phones, like those people are using Sony glass.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
your big screen manufacturers are like LG.
LG, that's right. Yeah. So I'm just thinking, like, at a very high level, I'm thinking, like, when I read this, I was just thinking of, okay, this could be something like a Steam Deck type of device where you have access to your PlayStation library. It's another opportunity for maybe PlayStation to get the hand. I'm sure there's some people that only use handheld devices. Maybe this is an opportunity for PlayStation to get their device, their games into the hands of those people that can sell more, PlayStation games to those people. That would potentially lead to some, I imagine, some increase in game sales. But that's the only thing I could think of, man. like how or why this might make sense, Oh, and just being another item in that ecosystem. We talked about the PlayStation. We talked about the PlayStation Portal. I think it was last week, right? I think you had asked me about my interest in the $200 PlayStation Portal after now Sony's. Now that you can actually stream games via cloud onto the portal, and perhaps it's just another device in that ecosystem, another thing they could sell to people that are PlayStation consumers. So,
well, that's my thing. I mean, so so we've talked a lot this generation about how there are
Mhm.
these ecosystem plays, and people should recognize that. And lots of PlayStation haters should stop though. Who is this for? Well, it's for the people who are in the ecosystem, right? Just like stuff that I buy for Apple is not stuff that you normally need, but people like it because it's Apple stuff and it all goes together. My question on this becomes, okay, so if your install base, and whatever, I mean, if they're saying it's years away, like now we're in the PS6 generation, right? So you're starting the clock all over again. Is this thing completely standalone and it has some interoperability with the 5 and the 6, right? Okay, so you have a install base by then of what, let's call it 100 million PS5s, and you're just starting kind of PS6, or maybe you're a couple years in the PS6 generation. So let's say you've got an addressable market of 110 million people, maybe, right? How many of them are going to go buy this thing, which is not a cloud streaming device, but is an entirely standalone console? So again, PSVR 2, $600, right? I mean, this thing is not going to be cheap. It is going to be the cost of a lot of consoles. Steam Deck, top end Steam Deck is $650, right? So let's say this is a $400 device, right? Well, what is the PlayStation Portal?
$200.
Okay, so let's say this is a $400 device, right? Your addressable market by supply and demand, maybe slightly less than the Portal, right? Given the increased price. So, like I said, I just don't know. And again, I'm not sweating so much how many it's going to sell, but it's just a matter of, from a corporate efficiency perspective, do you have enough skin to put in the game from an investment perspective to make this thing go and make it a viable product line for the people who want it? I mean, because if your demand isn't big enough, then it really means at some point you're kind of subsidizing, right, making it go. And then the question is, what is that overall impact, right, on the business?
Mm-hmm. Look at Snore says, have a device for everyone in the market, and players have options: cloud, handheld, console, and maybe a high-end console. It's maybe a console PC hybrid that you can upgrade your GPU and CPU. Nate saying, thank you for saying the real price of the Steam Deck. People be out here acting like they don't need no storage on that thing.
Yeah, so I see. Look at Snore's suggestion, right? And my feeling is that works at scale when you're selling things at a scale of Samsung, right? Where you're selling millions, billions of dollars of handsets. And Samsung's approach is, they're not just selling that Samsung Galaxy S line, right? But they're also selling like dirt cheap handsets that are being sold for free. And there's a carrier model associated with that.
Yeah, like those A versions of the Samsung, like the A26 or something. I'm like, what is that?
Which are actually really great handsets. Like I got my sister-in-law one.
They're actually not bad considering how cheap
I should just get one of these. Yeah. So I mean, PlayStation's business model isn't quite that. So that's why I ask these questions of just, what does that look like at scale? The other thing is, my feeling is, and I haven't given this a ton of thought, so this is an on the spot remark, I don't feel that the development teams behind those devices and stuff that Samsung is doing needs to be at the scale that PlayStation is going to have to be at to make this type of SKU a viable product line.
I think it's only viable if there's no additional lift, and those games you could play those games on that device without any extra effort from PlayStation. You know what I mean? Like, and so that to me, that I would imagine there had to be some kind of cloud solution. Maybe.
I actually think you need to be able to play the game on both.
Okay.
To make it worthwhile. Right? I mean, that's the wonder of the Steam Deck, right? Is that I buy the game on Steam and I can play it on a big boy PC, or I can play it on my Steam Deck.
Yeah. Well, that would go to kind of what I was saying about. That's yeah. So and then I wonder. Then I was thinking too, is this like the PlayStation Portal 2 or like the Portal Pro? If this is just a beefier version of that device that's already out, and so then you have the option of, you could either have the PlayStation Portal, the PlayStation Portal device, or you can have this high end version of a handheld, much like we see with the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro. And maybe this handheld that they're discussing is the higher end, again, the higher end version of that. For people who want that, what you just described, that Steam Deck like experience. I'm sorry I lose my voice, by the way. So
Yeah,
sorry about that. I apologize.
I think overall, right, the key thing for me in making an accurate assessment on this is like the conversation needs to not be around what any individual consumer wants. It needs to be around how do we think this thing is going to play on the entire market. I get that there are people who want this, right? That's if I were a console player, I would absolutely buy this. I said the same thing about the Xbox handheld. If Xbox had come up with a handheld 5-10 years ago, absolutely, I would have been one of the first people in line to buy the thing, right? I would have bought it on launch day. I'd have been waiting in line outside GameStop, right? Going inside to see Forte at 7 a.m. in the morning. But like I said, what I just don't know is I just don't know how this plays on the market at scale at these prices when we're concurrently running around talking about, oh, there's people in all these countries who can't afford this hardware and blah, 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 and inflation and et cetera.
Those conversations around the Steam Deck and other devices.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I never hear those conversations around things like the Steam Deck.
I mean, I've made those same comments about the Steam Deck. I mean, there are lots of people running around saying, "Oh, well, people are interested in doing this because, like, look at how many people love the Nintendo Switch." And I'm like, "No, guys, this is not a console. This is a PC. Oh, well, they'll just watch a video on YouTube and do that, and it'll just work." I'm like, you clearly are somebody who's never troubleshot anything in the technology space. I have loads of scars and nightmares to talk about all the times I tried to root an Android device because I was following instructions on some YouTube video or on XDK developers forums or whatever. And I'm like, no, it doesn't just work. Because quite frankly, people are shitty at documentation. Like, engineers aren't that great at documentation. They frequently leave steps out, right? Or wind up getting caught up in a nit at 2 a.m. in the morning and don't write the step down. So, like, no,
or they get to a step in the video, but they kind of skip the step to get to that step. Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, how did you find this thing? Did you open something? Like,
yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. Like, and that's why I said no. The Steam people, remember when the Steam Deck was about to launch, people were running around talking about this was the Switch killer, and I'm like, I cannot imagine a time in life when you guys have been more wrong.
Honestly, I wouldn't surprise me. This is just the next PlayStation Portal, like if that's what this just is, because like Nate said, like the Portal's a perfect answer without dividing first party studios, having make their games for a specific device. And now the Sony's rolling out that you could stream certain games to the PlayStation Portal. Maybe this is just that. It's just the next iteration of the PlayStation Portal device. And maybe it has a little more bells and whistles to it.
Well, I mean, while I question how well the thing is going to do and like what the whole investment strategy is going to be behind it, no, I actually think they are spooling up for a full-blown, fully capable handheld. I mean,
you think full-on like ROG Ally type device?
Yeah, I mean, so last year I want to say, I mean, it was corroborated that Sony has made an investment in AMD in their R&D pipeline for them to go off and research this and figure it out. So I mean, PlayStation has put money into this already for AMD to do something right with their APU architecture to get something in a form factor right with a low enough TDP that will run right in a handheld space. So. Again, granted, at the time, of course, the way those things go is, just because a company feeds somebody some R&D money doesn't necessarily mean that it becomes a full-blown product. But I would say, given everything that we've seen that AMD is doing, I think this goes in that direction. And it could actually be a place where like their stackable chip technology that they're talking about working on could actually land. Right, to get it into that form factor in space and have manageable heat and interconnects with a low enough travel distance that it would make sense and provide the performance that's needed.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting to see, if we hear any more about this in the near future. But I don't know, interesting news story. So we'll see. That's all I have, Logic, in terms of topics, man. Anything else you might want to bring up before we wrap up the show? before I lose my voice.
No, I'm good. I think Corey Massey has mentioned it a couple times. Like he's talking about shrinking it. So at no point have I said this is an effort to shrink the PS5. If that was the effort, there would be no need for PlayStation to feed R&D dollars to AMD to go off and research something new. Because miniaturizing a currently deployed technology does not take R&D dollars at a massive enough scale to wind up on somebody's accounting spreadsheet. What I'm talking about, they've been paid to do is they've been paid to go off and look at another SKU in another microarchitecture design, probably in the Zen 5 platform, maybe the Zen 6 platform, and like I just said, it may be where their stackable chip technology that they just filed a patent for lands because it makes sense, because that's the type of technology that you could utilize to implement in an APU to get it in a smaller form factor and have the TDP be manageable enough. So I don't know if that's somebody else in chat who's talking about them miniaturizing a PlayStation 5, but that's not something that I said or would ever say.
Well, I think that may have come up because the article says the portable console would natively play PlayStation 5 games without an active Wi-Fi connection. So maybe that's where they're getting that from.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily talking about miniaturizing the same hardware.
Yeah, the article, and this is all according to Bloomberg, that the console allows users to play PlayStation 5 games anywhere. So, but then again, it says it's likely years away from launch. So that's going to be interesting because that to me would signal years away PlayStation 6, Yeah. So this is not going to play PlayStation 6. This is going to be a device that plays older games.
I guess. I don't know if that makes any sense.
And then maybe the way you play PlayStation 6 games is through what you do, like maybe through some kind of cloud solution.
I guess from a certain financial perspective, if you deploy a handheld that can play PlayStation 5 games, not that PlayStation has made a ton of first-party AAA games like this generation, but if this generation does wind up being kind of the lost generation, like I've talked about, where it just doesn't achieve the sales numbers of previous generations along the same 7-year timeline, maybe that's a way to lengthen your investment on the titles that you have done, by increasing the number of install base units that it can be played on. So I don't know. The whole thing is just questionable to me. I guess, and hopefully that will be filled out over time. As more of this comes to light.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Oh man, Ramon's rubbing it in. Says, I'm gonna catch up on the replay. Time for some time with 4080 Super and ray tracing greatness.
Yeah, BRAP, I think you're the only person who's not in the 4000 club. That's a problem.
I'm not in the 4000 club. Yeah, I'm not upgrading. I said I was going to wait for the 50 series cards to come out before I upgrade. So that's what I'm trying to do.
And yeah, that guy, I can't remember where the last curve report is, but they have been selling ahead of pace. My question is that gonna continue through the rest of the generation? Right, when one of the things that we talked about last night, not last night, one of the things we talked about tonight is the fact that console sales last month were 23% down, right? And yes, it's anecdotal, but our questions about Forte, whether or not they've seen the influx of people on Black Friday. So I just don't know. I think a thing that everybody's trying to get their handle on is what is going to go on the back half of this generation, and is there the demand signal there for people to buy hardware? And from my perspective, the titles that have been out this year have not been along the lines of system sellers on any platform. So again, I just don't know.
And then here in the U.S., you have an incoming administration that's looking to tax an additional 25% in tariffs on top of goods that are imported from China. And where are these consoles made? China. So it's going to be interesting to see. Matt Piscatella actually commented on that on Blue Sky Social. I don't know if you saw that logic. He talked about the potential impacts of a additional 25% tariff by the incoming administration and how that could lead to the increased cost of video games in the video game industry. So,
yeah. So Corey Mann saying, I'm not suggesting that you said. I'm saying that in order to get PS5 level hardware and handheld form factor, especially at a sub $700 price point. Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I think what I'm saying is that I would encourage people to think about like compute is not necessarily linear in that fashion. Like we had periods of times that we had the gigahertz war, and now we're in this era that I think is coming to a close. Actually, now we're in this area of the core count war and the thread war. But when you talk about going to a handheld, right, you're almost talking more of almost like a TDP war, right? So it's getting compute in a handheld is not necessarily getting PS5 performant hardware in a handheld is not necessarily the same kind of linear pathway as miniaturizing PS5. But more importantly, like I don't necessarily know that it needs to be as performant, right? The difference in the Steam Deck obviously is you're playing games on PC at 165 frames per second, right? You go to the Steam Deck and you play at 40, right? So there are ways to get down to a 40 frame per second kind of performance level that's acceptable on a handheld, that are not necessarily just right getting the same hardware in the lower form factor. You can back off the detail level. There are other things I think that you can do.
Just renewed my Game Pass Ultimate for 3 months. What? Hold on. What is this, Priscilla? I just renewed my Game Pass Ultimate for 3 months for 20 for. Oh, Stalker. What? How did you do that? Okay.
So I don't know how she did it, but I mean, we talked a little bit earlier about how like it didn't seem like there are deals right on.
Oh, she said CD keys. Just renewed Game Pass Ultimate for 3 months for playing and downloading Stalker, Stalker, COD, Dragon Age Inquisition via CD keys.
Yeah, and there is actually a deal on PC Game Pass. I assume this is for new customers. Where you get the $1 deal is kind of sort of back on, where you get your first 14 days for $1.
Okay.
Which is seems to be a weird janky deal. So what do they prorate you the 14 days and then charge you the regular price for the back? Whatever. But I mean, but the point is that there are deals out there for Game Pass, I guess, if you look for them, or you take this PC Game Pass deal directly from Xbox.
Yeah, I need to look at some Game Pass deals. Some games coming out that I want to play next year, like Avowed in February. So,
yeah, and Josh has a good point. It doesn't need to be 4K image on a handheld. It needs to be probably 1080p. Should be fine.
No, that's what I was going to say, 1080p. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we have for today's show. Want to thank everyone in the live chat for hanging out with us this evening. Sorry I couldn't make Wednesday show. Like I said, the COVID finally got me. Logic. I'm convinced now that I've had COVID before, based on my symptoms. I'm like, this feels like shit I've had before the last year or 2 years, or since COVID. But I've never tested positive before. So that's why I wasn't able to do Wednesday's show. But thank everyone for jumping by this evening and hanging out with us on this Black Friday. And Logic, thank you, man. Appreciate your time as always. I don't know if you want to be found, but if you do, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can catch me on the Enough to Keep Going Weekly Games podcast on the E2KG Network podcasting channel on YouTube. We will be live Sunday night. We are doing a Thanksgiving weekend show, like I said, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can catch me over there.
Sounds good. And I am here every Wednesday night, except when I'm sick, at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can find me on the Twitters or X at BRAP_podcast. And I'm on Blue Sky Social, BRAP-7. And we'll be back next Wednesday. I can't believe next week is December. It's crazy. This year's flying by too fast. We'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So until then, everyone enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you then. Thank you for watching.